Today's cryptid is the Wood Dwarves of New Jersey. Put them on the board, Prime. Wema Tagunis, the Wood Dwarves of New Jersey. Hello, and welcome back to Creepy American Cryptids. Today's episode takes place in southwest New Jersey, where mysterious little people have been encountered for centuries. During this episode, we will explore the area these diminutive forest beings inhabit, a description of the creatures, the documented encounters with these cryptids, and a few theories on what the Wood Dwarves of New Jersey may actually be and why they are a lesser-known cryptid. The setting. The Wema Tagunis, or simply the Wood Dwarves, are reported to inhabit the forests of southwest New Jersey. Since New Jersey is shaped like an Egyptian pharaoh leaning back, these woods are located in his beer gut. This area of southwest New Jersey was the home of a tribe of Native Americans known as the Lenape. In their language, Wema Tagunis translates to wood dwarfs. The creatures. Wood dwarves are described as humanoid-shaped little people ranging from 1.5 feet tall in some accounts to 3 feet tall, or coming up to the waist on an average-sized man. The Lenape tribe believed these creatures to be well-meaning and kindly forest spirits who enjoyed tricking and playing pranks on people. Although they are small in stature, they are known to possess an incredible amount of strength that is not typical of such modestly sized beings. While most encounters with the wood dwarves are accidentally and mostly benign and good-natured, they have been reported to act unfriendly, hostile, and can even be dangerous when people do not laugh along with or at least feign enjoyment of their mischief and pranks. The wood dwarves are suspected to believe if their trickery is not appreciated, that they will consider it a sign of disrespect. If the wood dwarves are treated with respect, they have been known to help people. Another potential aspect of the wood dwarf is magical powers, including the power of invisibility, the ability to create illusions, and shapeshift, including making themselves shorter, which may account for the variations in reported sizes of these cryptids. Some legends about the creatures also believe that they are messengers of the Great Spirit. Due to varying descriptions of the wood dwarves, it is difficult to state a definitive look for these beings. Some sketches depict them as a furry upright primate, while other depictions show forms similar to gnomes, elves, dwarves, fairies, pixies, and sprites from various fantasy and gaming genres. The encounters. The encounters. The two most prominent encounters with the wood dwarves are from the tales of the Lenape tribe occurring in the 1800s. Wema Tagunis and the Hunter. The first encounter, told by the Lenape people, states that there was once a man deer hunting in the woods with a few friends. After they all split up to pick hunting spots, the man was alone and was lucky enough to get a deer. He prepared it and then put it on his back to go and search for his friends. While searching for them for quite some time without success, he eventually called out to them and heard a response back, which sounded close to his location. The man ran to the area where he heard the response, but found no one was there. Once again, he called out to his friends and heard a response from the area that was his original position. He ran back to that area and once again was greeted by no one. This occurred repeatedly, with the man running back and forth between the two locations and becoming increasingly angry. The hunter had finally reached his bullying point and threw the deer to the ground so he could chase after the person that was answering his repeated calls. When the hunter caught up with the person, he had actually found a wood dwarf, carrying a bow, leaning against a tree and laughing. The man threatened the creature by telling it that he would teach it a lesson for tricking him by having a fight with the dwarf. The dwarf agreed to fight, but asked the man to wait until he had taken off his coat made of corn husks. Now the man was ready to fight, but once again, the dwarf asked the man to wait until he took his jacket off. The dwarf continued to take off his corn husk jackets, growing smaller and smaller in size, with the removal of each jacket. Legend says that the dwarf removed a dozen jackets until he was so small that the hunter felt ashamed and refused to fight someone so small. The hunter explained, "I will not fight you now, but I will give you a name. When you get home, tell your people that someone named you Nox Humi Answer Me. And now I want you to answer me this. Why did you try to fool me?" The dwarf laughed and exclaimed, "I just wanted to see how strong you were and how far you could carry that deer." Chi-Pa-Ya-Puthwa and the Gambler. The second encounter details a gambler's encounter with a wood dwarf. There was a young, handsome gambler with beautiful eyes that everyone admired. However, he would use these eyes to his advantage to influence other young men into a life of gambling and laziness, instead of hunting and going to war, as was their duty within the tribe at this time. His influence and gambling ability had become so great that the great chief of the gamblers, named Chi-Pa-Ya-Puthwa, became jealous. He was in fact so jealous that he left his home on the moon to come to Earth and play with the gambler. When the chief moon gambler arrived, he looked like any other man, and no one knew his identity. He asked to be introduced to the best gamblers and claimed to have plenty of money to gamble with. The young gambler and his gambling friends arrived to play with the moon gambler in disguise. They all bet heavily, but all lost quickly until only the young man and the moon gambler remained. The moon gambler said to the young man, "See what riches I have, robes, feathers, and wampum. I have more wampum than anyone in your tribe. I will bet it all against your eyes in just one more game." Although it was an unusual bet, the gambler agreed to the bet and lost. Upon winning, the moon gambler told the young gambler who he was, made the young man's eyes disappear, and left to return home to the moon. However, before he left, the moon gambler stated, "My young friend, if you had made better use of your eyes, you would still have them." After this, the young man lived alone in a shack, deserted by his friends. One day, a small boy came to him and asked him why he was alone. He answered, "I had many friends once, but they all left me now that I am blind. I used to be a great gambler, and then the moon gambler came and took everything I had, including my eyes." Then the little boy asked the gambler, if he had his eyes back, would he make better use of them than before? The gambler said, "Yes, I would try to serve my people better. But who are you, little man, to ask me such strange questions?" The little boy replied, "I am Wei Ma Takun Ise. I will go and get your eyes back from the moon gambler, and you will be able to see as well as you did before. But you must never gamble again." The wood dwarf made his trip to the moon and returned with the gambler's eyes, as he had promised. The gambler's sight was restored, and he returned to his people to meet his duties of hunting and participating in the war parties. The young man never gambled again, keeping his promise to the wood dwarf that restored his sight. The theories. A primary theory is that the creature is a hallucination of some sort. This theory accounts for its abilities of shape-shifting, disappearing, and the variations in its size. A secondary theory is that it's a legitimate species of creature living in the woods in southwest New Jersey. However, this species has gone largely unnoticed in recent times. The conclusions. Although several reports and theories exist regarding the wood dwarves of New Jersey, there are no definitive answers at this time. Even in terms of classification for this cryptid, it currently remains unclassified. The nearest classification for this creature is that of a hide-behind, which is a type of cryptid that can disguise itself well within a wooded environment by hiding behind trees or standing very near a tree very still. As we all know, the ability to stand very still can render almost anyone completely invisible in any situation. If the wood devils are indeed living creatures, the question remains, where are they now? Do they still exist? Have they been mistaken for more modern cryptids, such as the aforementioned hide-behinds? Even within the scope of this series, we have already discussed similar creatures, such as the wood devils and the Dover demon. Is it possible that these cryptids are wood dwarves, but the people that encounter them do not react positively to their appearance or tricks? This in turn would cause the wood dwarves to react negatively and possibly violently toward the individuals in these encounters. As stated, we have no concrete answers. However, one thing is for certain. If you do not want to be tricked or possibly attacked by the wood dwarves, you should avoid the Waimatigunis's woods in southwest New Jersey. See you next time, folks.